What are your initial thoughts having watched the Nuggets do what they did in 4 games to the Lakers?
Denver's a more complete team. They had the best player in the series, and I thought ultimately they won the big moments. And this one tonight had 3 different games in one. It was the first half, Lakers doing whatever they wanted to offensively. LeBron very aggressive as a scorer. They get the big lead. Second game was the third quarter push by the Nuggets where they cut that lead, and basically now you make this a one-quarter game. And in that one quarter, you've got Nikola Jokic to decide matters late with his shot making, with his post play, and then most importantly with his passing. So for me, it was fitting that it ended this way. The Nuggets clearly the better team, the deeper team, and ultimately had the best player that controlled the action for longer stretches in the series.
We're going to step aside here and take a quick break, but we're going to dive more into Jokic's game, and particularly the turning point in this one, and what makes his passing so special. That's coming up in just a little bit.
No question. We've also got Michael Malone joining us. He's had plenty to say about the way the Nuggets have been disrespected. They've got plenty. Incredible. Again, game 1 of the finals for them is going to be June 1, 9 days off. Heat win tomorrow. They'll have 8 days off. I want to ask you about Mike Malone. His first 3 years with the team, they missed the playoffs. This is his 8th year in Denver. You've seen how quickly they've jettisoned coaches this year in the NBA that have won the NBA finals or been there. What does it say about the Nuggets organization that they stuck by a guy that wasn't at 100 on day 1?
Well, not only did they stick by him, another key factor in that is that their best player never expressed any dissatisfaction with what was going on in Denver, right? And we know that ultimately is the death knell for a lot of coaches. If any front office person senses there's some sort of dissatisfaction or somebody's getting restless as a star player, they're going to make a change. That never happened in Denver. And you've got just the ultimate guy to coach. If you ask Mike Malone, and we're going to talk to him, you know, what makes him so special, it's the fact that he's just so malleable. Whatever it is that needs to be done, he's going to do. You don't have to do anything to assimilate to him. You just give him the basketball, let his IQ take over. So that makes it easier for a coach when your best player has that personality type and those sort of leadership skills to uplift everybody around him, and you don't get those those uneven moments in the locker room that now start to make a front office question, is this the right guy? That never became the case with Mike Malone.
We've also seen the chemistry and the leadership with those guys in Jokic and Murray. He's gotten them to buy into the idea. We've heard it all series long. 6 more wins, 5 more wins. Now they're saying 4 more wins. How has he managed to do that?
Yeah, look, I think, and you're going to hear about more of this, to how they just felt like they were disrespected along the way. Whatever it takes, right? You're the number 1 seed in the West. I think you got a lot of love throughout the year. Whatever it takes, if that's what it takes, great. They felt like there were always people kind of looking for ways to not make them the favorite. There were better storylines. There were sexier combinations in the league with talent, particularly in the West. And yet here they were, just that team that went out, played both ends of the floor, and had great depth, and I think the best probably role acceptance in their starting lineup of any team in the NBA.
I think when we were watching the first half of this game, we were like, nope, LeBron's got this under control.
31.
He is not going out like this at home. And Jokic, after the first quarter, had 2 points. The Nuggets finally took the lead for the first time in the third quarter of this game. What was the turning point from your perspective?
Well, to me, the difference between the two teams is Denver can play with sustained pace for longer stretches without making mistakes and make you pay. And that's what turned this game, the third quarter pace. And I'm just going to show you one example of that. Lakers on an offensive possession. You see here, Denver's cut the lead all the way down. Now we got a tie game. And look, take a look at the effort play. It starts here. Aaron Gordon, he's tracking the basketball with his eyes, and he's going to run this ball down over here, despite the fact that Anthony Davis has great position under the rim. Aaron Gordon beats him to the ball, but it's what happens next. And this is what differentiates Denver. People want to tease Nikola Jokic all the time about not being a great athlete. Well, sometimes, effort is everything. He's going to get out here and run the floor as a center and watch what this does to the defense. And Aaron Gordon's going to look up. He sees right away that he's got numbers and he's got guys running with him. And this is the pace I'm talking about. This should not be a fast break open shot at the other end based on the Lakers' balance defensively. But you see what happens. By Jokic running, he's going to run to the rim. Now you force mistakes made by the Lakers. They miscommunicate it, and ultimately Michael Porter runs into a wide open three right here to give them their first lead on this jump shot.
I don't want to cut you off.
That's okay.
But there's somebody waiting who needs to talk to us, and he just won a game. So we're gonna step aside from Tim and welcome into the show the head coach of the Nuggets, Michael Malone. It's good to have you on. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's a surreal moment. First Western Conference championship in Nuggets history, and I could not be more proud to represent the Nuggets great players on our team, high character, and this is for all of our fans back in Denver. And we're not satisfied. I think that's one message that's coming out of our locker room right now. There wasn't a big celebration back there. We understand that we're heading to the NBA Finals, and we have 4 more games to try to win.
We've heard that messaging from you since game 1 of this series. It's been a bit of a countdown, and now we've heard you say now it's 4 more wins. How have you gotten this group of players to buy into that mentality?
Well, it started back in September and October. We went to San Diego for training camp, and our goal this year wasn't just to win the Western Conference championship. Our goal was to win the first finals championship in Nuggets history, and something that we talked about all season long. Middle of December, we wound up taking over first place in the West, held on throughout, and I think the Minnesota series, the Phoenix series, and now this Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, first sweep in Nuggets history as well. Our guys have believed along the whole journey that we've been on. But as I mentioned, our players are hungry. They're not satisfied, and they understand whether it's Miami or Boston, we have much more work to do.
Coach, we've all known for a while now how great Nikola Jokic is. Jamal Murray now healthy. We know what he was capable of. He's back to that level. Talk about the acquisitions that you have made here over the last couple of years to round out this team when you bring in an Aaron Gordon and a KCP and a Bruce Brown this year who was vital to your team. Just talk about that process and what you guys needed and the way you addressed it by rounding out this team and adding those players.
Well, I think it's a really important point. Nobody can win a championship by themselves, and we understand how great Nikola is, a 2-time MVP, averaging a triple-double in these playoffs after 3 rounds, which is just insane. We know about Jamal's resurgence coming back from the ACL injury, but, Michael Porter coming back from an injury, just as important. And you mentioned the acquisition of a KCP. You mentioned the free agent signing of a Bruce Brown. You got to give a lot of credit to our front office. Calvin Booth took over for Tim Conley. I've had the pleasure and to work with tremendous front office people who have made sure we added the right players to the puzzle. And it's not just about talent. Talent is a given in this business. It's all about character and identifying guys that are going to buy into our system. Our best player is completely selfless, a huge part of our culture, and we have a lot of guys stepping up. This is not just on one player.
And, Coach, I want to quickly ask you about that best player, that selfless player, as you call it. This is a scary proposition for the rest of the league, but makes Denver fans giddy everywhere. At 28 years old, a triple-double machine, how much better can Nikola Jokic be?
Well, you know what? He challenges himself to get better every offseason. Like all the great players in the past. He never wants to come back as the same player. His IQ is off the charts. His greatest skill is to make everyone around him better. He steps up in big moments. He's a clutch player. But what I see, the main areas that he continues to grow in is his leadership and his voice. And when he takes over a huddle or he speaks up in a locker room or a film session, the impact is just tremendous on our entire group. And that's the area where I think Nikola's grown the most, getting comfortable with his voice and the leadership role that he has to have with this team because everybody listens to him, everybody loves him, and everybody respects him.
I know you're a student of history, your father's long career in the NBA. I know this is before your time. Carmelo Anthony retired today from the Nuggets wearing number 15, but I think it's safe to say the guy that's donning number 15 now is burnishing his legend in a way no one could have expected. 9 days off. Enjoy it tonight. We'll see you June 1 for the NBA Finals for the first time in Nuggets history. Thank you, Coach.